EastEnders Jasmine crosses a dangerous line as her mysterious plot intensifies next week. EastEnders newcomer Jasmine Fisher is set to commit a major offense as her storyline ramps up in upcoming episodes. The recently introduced character has been settling into life in Walford, working shifts at the Prince Albert and growing closer to Oscar Branning. However, doubts have begun to circle around her, especially after Lauren, Oscar, and Elaine Peacock attempted to dig into her online footprint, only to discover she didn't have one at all. Jasmine later explained to Oscar that her parents never allowed her to own a smartphone or use social media until she turned 18. "Maybe they were just trying to protect me," she told him. "Their fears must have rubbed off because I still avoid social media. You never know when some creep might track you online." Oscar then questioned her fascination with Cindy, but Jasmine insisted it was nothing more than admiration. Soon after, she asked Oscar and Peter if she could move in temporarily while searching for her own accommodation. Although Peter suggested she use his and Lauren's bedroom, Jasmine pushed for the spare room, the one belonging to Cindy. Peter was reluctant, but Oscar persuaded him to agree. In scenes set to air next week, Oscar continues trying to get closer to Jasmine, but his world is shaken when he catches her taking Anthony's keys. Jasmine then talks Oscar into sneaking inside the surgery with her, and once they break in, she quietly accesses Anthony's computer to retrieve some sort of information. What exactly is she planning? Jasmine is still concealing a significant truth, an EastEnders insider revealed, and Oscar remains just as in the dark as the audience. But next week marks the moment he begins to grow suspicious of his new crush as she drags him into a criminal situation. What is Jasmine hoping to find, and will she uncover what she needs in the GP's office? EastEnders Phil and Kat get temporary recasts, and the surprising new actors have stunned fans. Steve McFadden has embodied the character of Phil Mitchell since all the way back in 1990, becoming central to countless dramatic story arcs over the decades, including the hugely iconic Who Shot Phil, whodunit that gripped the entire nation. Earlier this year, his long-running dedication finally earned him his first ever National Television Award, where he was honored with the Best Serial Drama Performance trophy. Likewise, Jesse Wallace, who burst onto the square as Kat Slater in 2000, has fronted some of the soap's most unforgettable storylines. One defining moment still etched into viewers' memories is the explosive reveal in which Kat told Zoe Slater the truth. She wasn't her sister at all, but her mother. For this year's Children in Need broadcast, however, both legendary characters will be portrayed by two completely different, and much younger, actors in a special comedy sketch. 16-year-old Children in Need presenter Lenny Rush is granted the playful power to put children at the centre of BBC programming for the night, and with Pudsey Bear by his side, he wastes no time in shaking things up. One of the shows receiving this imaginative makeover is EastEnders, where child performers will temporarily take on the roles of Kat, Phil, and Billy Mitchell. Well-known residents Alfie Moon and Lauren Branning will also make appearances in the segment, adding their own flavour to the chaos. In true EastEnders style, the action inside the Queen Vic quickly becomes chaotic, with misunderstandings, raised voices, and accusations about missing belongings flying around the pub. Beyond the Walford sketch, this year's Children in Need programme is packed with emotional musical numbers, heartfelt stories, and plenty of comedic moments, making it one of the most varied lineups the charity event has offered. Over the years, the soap has created a series of memorable Children in Need specials, from elaborate musical mashups and Disney-themed performances to energetic dance routines, and even an ambitious crossover with ITV's Coronation Street. Kat herself played a major role in the beloved East Street crossover, famously ejecting Michelle Connor from the Vic for openly flirting with Alfie during karaoke, only to later discover, in a brilliantly absurd twist, that Liz McDonald was supposedly her biological mother. Naturally, none of these storylines ever fed into the official EastEnders canon, but fans embraced the chance to see their favourite characters in imaginative, tongue-in-cheek situations. For one night a year, the rules of Walford bend, and viewers get to enjoy every second of it. Huge clue about Zoe's stalker emerges in EastEnders as she faces a terrifying surprise. Zoe Slater, who only recently made her comeback to Walford, has spent the past few weeks utterly convinced that someone is targeting her after a string of unsettling incidents at the Queen Vic. Although she still has no idea who could be responsible, Zoe temporarily pushes aside her stalker nightmare in upcoming scenes and throws herself into playing Cupid for her cousin Freddie Slater and Anna Knight. Her matchmaking skills appear to work wonders, as Freddie and Anna eventually patch things up and officially reunite. But Zoe's happiness doesn't last long. She is soon horrified to discover several harsh, anonymous online reviews about the Vic, each one specifically criticizing her by name. Alfie Moon remains adamant that Zoe has been orchestrating every one of these attacks herself for attention, despite mounting evidence to the contrary. Still, to keep the peace with his wife Kat Moon, Alfie reluctantly asks Freddie to do some digging and figure out who's really behind the negative comments. Before long, tensions explode. A fierce argument breaks out between Kat and Alfie, with Alfie insisting that Zoe should pack her bags and go. But before the row can reach its peak, the couple are startled by a strange noise echoing from downstairs. Rushing into the barrel store, Kat, Alfie and Zoe freeze in horror. Scrawled across the wall is a threatening message so chilling that it leaves all three of them momentarily speechless. Finally, understanding the seriousness of what Zoe has been living through, Alfie is forced to swallow his pride and apologize for doubting her. Zoe, already on edge, is left even more shaken by the sinister warning. But the discovery doesn't end there. While examining the room, the group uncover a single dropped earring on the floor, one that Zoe is convinced does not belong to anyone in the household. Instantly, she believes it must have been dropped by whoever has been tormenting her. This marks their first real breakthrough in the disturbing mystery. Yet the big question remains: is this earring the vital clue that will finally expose Zoe's stalker, or is it simply another misleading twist in a much darker game? As the shock settles, Kat becomes increasingly protective, urging Zoe not to go anywhere alone until they figure out whether the stalker is someone local or someone from her past. The tension spreads quickly throughout the pub, with staff members whispering about the threat and customers picking up on the uneasy atmosphere. Freddie starts to wonder whether the person targeting Zoe might be someone who has been close by the entire time, watching and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Meanwhile, Zoe can't shake the feeling that the culprit has a personal vendetta, especially given how specifically the attacks seem aimed at her confidence and reputation. With paranoia growing and suspicions mounting, the Slaters soon realize that the earring may be more than a clue. It could be the stalker's first major mistake, and possibly the beginning of their downfall. But in Walford, nothing is ever as simple as it seems, and this chilling mystery is only just getting started. EastEnders airs Mondays to Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. on BBC One and BBC iPlayer.